if you're an artist and you're stressed out about NFTs because you think, oh, I can make some cool money, I can, I get a chance to get my art out there, sell my art. Like, you're not alone. I'm stressed out too. And part of me is like, I gotta sell like all these NFTs and just, make as much money as possible to fund the movies that I want to make. There's like that part of me. There's also the other part of me, which is like, dude, don't overdo it. Don't put out crap. Put out the best stuff you can put out, and like have your work be valuable because everything you put out is really good. I think I went with that side of things. I went with the side of things that's put out the detail, quality work. Don't put out the quantity. It just got me thinking. It got me thinking about a lot of stuff. And it's like, man, I really like cap myself and hinder myself because I try to make everything so difficult.
And you're right, like, because it's kind of like KISS, keep it simple. Like, I think some people will overcomplicate things when it's not necessary. And that's what the big thing I learned about being a producer was suddenly everything at a cost. In terms of time equals money. So doing the more convoluted way of doing things when it's not necessary is essentially a waste of money or time. Because I've had some like really amazing high profile artists approach me saying, hey, I want to do some NFT stuff, but I want to do it with you. And I've had a few people like that, and I'm like, fuck, this sounds really, really cool, but I've got so much on my plate. It's always like, just yesterday I turned down supervising a show in Hawaii for Amazon, where I'm like, fuck, that'd be really cool, but they want me to go next week and supervise on set. And as we've talked about, like 6 months out, 12 months out, like there's always stuff in the schedule. So I don't know, the whole topic of NFTs drives me insane about people who don't know what they are. And then you go in this rabbit hole of like, okay, where am I going to be 30 minutes from now with this conversation when you're explaining what they are? I think in a lot of ways, it's not only empowering artists, obviously, but I think if anything, having money is a chance to give you the freedom to do it takes the pressure away of like, I've got to do my day job. I've got to do this. It's now I can finally do what I want to do. And so I think for a lot of artists who do come into money, then it's a chance for them to say, cool, now finally I can go and make more art, without the pressure of, responsibilities and life stuff that usually gets in the way.
Yeah, the way I see it is like, you're almost like a stock, and people are investing in you to keep doing what you do. That's the way I see it. And it is allowing me to, granted, I've only sold one piece right now. Maybe by the time this comes out, it'll be two, but it's allowing me to focus on the art I want to make. And that is so freaking cool. And you have like, the prices are freaking insanely high right now because the price of cryptocurrency is crazy high. And you have a lot of people who have so much money to spend. And they're like, I love these artists so much and I want to invest in them. I want to see them do more of what they love doing. And I think it's the coolest thing ever. Mike Beeple, he explained it to me. You don't have the artist versus the client. It is the artist with the investor, basically. Mm-hmm. So you're on the team. And I thought that was really cool.
I remember him saying how, like, it's kind of funny because when it comes to client stuff, like he's always been, I'm really adamant about this too, the difference between being an artist and being, let's say, in visual effects, where visual effects, you're doing client work. And so he'd always call that being a designer versus being an artist. But it's different to what we know as a designer. But yeah, it's kind of interesting when you start looking at things a bit more structured that way. And I think you're right, like having people kind of back you and invest in you, it changes everything. And I think it's exciting that we're finally at a point where we can do that.
Yep. And I've met some of the coolest artists, like people, a lot of artists that I don't know, mainly. It's been an amazing community. And I got to meet some artists that I really look up to, like EJ from iDesign. Does a lot of really cool C4D tutorials and stuff. And I freaking love that guy's stuff. And I was able to meet him because of, crypto art and stuff. We're just kind of in a similar circle, but never had the chance to do so. So there's a lot of little like stories like that. I get to meet people that I really look up to, and also connect with people on the opposite side that have looked up to my stuff. And like, we all get to just talk and hang out, and like, we're like, what is this craziness? Let's figure this out. It's awesome. It's so cool.
Yeah. It's just, my wife is a designer for vehicle wraps, and she does like a lot of drawing. She actually just drew some artwork of DMX just as around the time that he passed. And now a bunch of people have reached out to try and get her artwork being displayed at his funeral. And it's just insane how it's kind of blown up that way. But now suddenly people are like, you need to make it an NFT. And so there's a lot of people who wouldn't ever have organically gone down that path. But now it's like, wow, you mean I can actually do that thing that these other people are doing? And it's kind of empowering a lot of people who might be that starving artist or whoever, who usually get appreciated, but they're not necessarily making bank. And it's just like, okay, wow, I can actually do this thing. And it's even forgetting the money for a moment. It's more about like, now there's an interest in this stuff, this digital art that no one cared about before. Like, you've got communities of people who love this stuff, but mainstream, like people was just mentioning yesterday how Kimmel, earlier this week, Jimmy Kimmel had mentioned him on his TV show, and now certain people have become like mainstream names, and there's a lot more focus on digital artists than there ever was before.
Seriously, it's crazy. It's a lot. It's a big old spotlight on the whole thing. It's really crazy, stressful for a number of reasons, and exciting at the same time.
Yeah.